Today I fucked up by trying to make Christmas a curse word. So this happened yesterday and not today. Anyway, my 11-year-old is excited for Christmas and already has her wish list and everything. For example, I told her she should pick out music while we wash dishes. She picked out Christmas music. It's not even Halloween yet. As a bit of background, since quarantine my daughter and I have gotten progressively more mean with our teases. Try not to say anything that could impact her self-esteem, but will say things like she sucks at Mario Kart when she gets hit by a turtle shell. On the other hand, she teases me for being fat, old, bald and having no friends. My wife frowns at this behavior, but my daughter and I think it's funny, so we just do it when mom isn't around. Anyway, after being tired of hearing about Christmas, I told her Christmas is now a curse word until after Thanksgiving. I wasn't really being serious, but I was just stressed out and getting annoyed by all the Christmas talk. After I said that, she pauses for a second and says, "Christmas you." I am starting to get tired of getting burned by my daughter. Too long didn't read. I told my daughter Christmas was a curse word, so she cussed at me. Get too comfortable feeding the monster and it'll eventually eat you. Honestly, this sounds like such a sweet father-daughter relationship. My dad and I are similarly comfortable with each other, and while we may roast each other all day long, I can honestly say he's one of my best friends. Also, you have a clever kid. When I was like 6, I started calling my dad Donut Head because he was balding at the top of his head like the hole in a donut. He called me Stinky. He still calls me Stinky. I am 27. Put out a $1 swear jar, let her fund her own presents. This is how my relationship to my stepkids are. I've always been great at twisting their words and taking things literally when they weren't supposed to be. Always quick to make fun of them in a playful way. They've now learned to respond, and I love that they are developing this sharp sense of wit to respond in kind, whilst not being mean. My youngest stepson was getting teased in school because he once said a dress in a catalogue they were browsing for a project looked good. Sometime later they were supposed to arrange a ball at their school, and one of the kids asked my stepson if he would be wearing a dress to the occasion, to which my stepson answered, "I don't have a dress, maybe I can borrow one of yours." His teacher nearly laughed out loud at the quick response. She's the one who told us about the incident at a parent-teacher conference. I want them to grow up respectful, but also able to take some banter and be ready with a quick reply. My husband and I come back with repeating what the other said. Egg, me, "Hey babe, can you grab my toothbrush?" Him, "You're a toothbrush." Now my toddler has started doing it. It's time for bedtime. No, or a bedtime. I like how your insults are "you suck at Mario Kart" and hers are directly attacking the appearance and attacking his lack of social life. Today I fucked up by wearing a septum ring to a rock concert. This was actually 7 years ago when my so and I were first getting to know each other. For our first true date, we decided to go to a small venue for a rock concert. Seemed like a great idea with alcohol present to lessen the tension and music to prevent any awkward silences. After getting drinks, we decided to try to move into the crowd to get a better view of the band. The next song was heavier rock than the others and the crowd began to respond to the change in energy. The woman in front of me had this glorious mane of thick, long, curly hair. Inspired by the music, she transitioned from swaying side to full-on head banging. Before I had the chance to escape, the octopus tentacles of her hair reached up and snatched the ends of the septum ring protruding from my nose. I was yanked forward by my nose as she obliviously continued her head banging. My yelp and following verbal attempts to get her attention were drowned out by the music. To avoid being yanked again, I instinctively fell in sync with the motions of the head-banging woman, while also trying to detangle the ring. Fortunately, the crowd was dense enough that she couldn't get full range of motion, so I was able to keep up. My so quickly realized what was transpiring and decided to be my rescuer, by repeatedly tapping the headbanger's arm to get her attention. She didn't notice my face and tears buried in her hair, so she definitely didn't notice his gentle tapping. As soon as the volume finally began decreasing, signaling the end of the song, My now exasperated so yells, "My friend's nose is stuck in your hair." She froze with confusion, which allowed me to unscrew the ring and free myself at last. The whole ordeal only lasted the duration of a song, but I will treasure that memory for a lifetime. The ridiculousness of the situation paved the beginnings of our relationship by completely shattering the awkwardness/shyness between us. Too long didn't read. I got my nose ring caught in a stranger's hair at a concert, while on a first date. Nothing like a little shared trauma to take out the first date jitters. So I was on a first date watching The Faint play, and the same thing happened to me, but it was my horseshoe lip ring. As soon as it happened, I grabbed her hair and tried yelling to her, but she felt the tug on her hair the next time she motioned forward, and turned around, and I tried pointing to show her, but she didn't understand what was going on and started hitting and violently shoving me. It felt like my piercing was seriously going to rip through my lip, so I reacted by bear hugging her with my one arm and tried talking to her now that my face was by her ear, but she was screaming and swinging. Eventually someone behind her made eye contact with me and had this incredibly concerned look on his face, like he was trying to figure out what to do about me. I used my other hand to point to my lip and mouthed, "Her hair is stuck on my lip ring." That person came over, calmed her down, and helped me detach. After the song, I explained to my date what happened. Apparently the entire time it was going on, she just thought I saw a close friend and was giving her a super long hug. When I took the stainless steel piercing out, it was bent to about half the diameter and super misshapen. I have no idea how he had banged and pushed me away so hard it bent the steel and didn't tear through my lip. It looked like someone used channel locks to bend it. Too long didn't read. Stainless steel lip ring got caught in a girl's hair at a concert. I grabbed her hair to keep it from ripping out. She thought I was assaulting her and basically tried to fight me. When I took the ring out later, the steel was completely bent and looked smashed. Should have wrapped the tentacles in your fingers and stopped the banging. When her screams subside, she'd turn to see them dangling from your bloodied nostrils like trophies of the kill. Dominance established. Metal. The whole ordeal lasted only the duration of a song. That's still a long time considering it was your nose. Did it hurt? Honestly, only the first yank was insanely painful. Then the adrenaline kicked in and I moved with her to keep from pulling my nose septum as hard. It was awful the next day though. Frown. My asshole clenched up while reading this. Me too, except that my asshole is almost all the time clenched up. Anxiety is fun. But for real, when he said long hair, I shouted out no 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 because it made me wince in pain. Today I fucked up by rubbing the wrong girl's leg at the theater. Today I fucked up by rubbing some girl's leg at the theater. Obligatory. This happened to me a few years ago and I get severe anxiety whenever I even think about it. So myself and my wife went to a comedy gig at a theater in town. So the show starts and when the lights go down, my wife always likes to cuddle up to me, which I equally enjoy. So she's leaning on my shoulder area and I reach over to rub her leg. Nothing unusual at this point, and this continues for about 2 to 3 minutes until suddenly the lady sitting beside my wife leans out of her seat to look at me and say, "Excuse me, you're rubbing my leg." I stopped immediately and apologized unreservedly for my mistake, but I wish the earth could have swallowed me up at that point. Luckily it was dark and I don't think many people around us saw what happened. But the worst part is that this was at the start of the show and we had sit beside this lady for the next 2 hours. I heard her turn to tell her friends what had happened and laugh, which was like a dagger to my soul. Luckily my wife found it funny too, so no issues on that front. But to this day I not understand why the lady let me continue rubbing for at least 2 minutes before interrupting me. Too long didn't read. I was rubbing the wrong girl's legs at the theater. She naturally assumed you'd be done after 2 minutes. Smiley face, smiley face. I bet she realized she fucked up too by not immediately stopping the indiscretion. Perhaps after 2 minutes she felt like things weren't going anywhere and got bored. Shit happens, no one got mad and you get a funny story. It's a win for everyone. How does this even happen? How far over were you reaching? If I was to reach over to my GF's leg in a theater, I've gotta go like a foot to foot and a half from my own leg. To reach the leg of the next person over, I'd have to like lay across my GF's lap and then reach in order to touch someone else. Do you just have insanely long arms, or are you in a theater with the narrowest ass seats? Did that lady have her leg on top of your wife's leg in your wife's space? I just don't understand. When I was younger, I went to the movies with my mom. I think it might have actually been Shrek. I would lean over to my mom and talk about the funny parts of the movie. When halfway through the movie she leaned over and whispered, "If you don't stop talking to me, I'll call police." Turns out my mom was on the other side and I was talking to a complete stranger the whole time. I shut up after she threatened me with the police. You bastard. You have 2 full minutes to take your hands off.